All right, here we go. So today I want to show you all my guitars. A lot of you guys have seen me play different guitars when I've posted videos, and but I want to talk about each one today because each one has a different meaning. There's only 4. I have owned more in my life, but these are the 4 that I have right now, and I want to go through them one by one and let you know a little bit about each make and model, how I got it, roughly the price, and where you can get more information. And I'm planning on putting all the information into the description of the video. And I also want to be able to put in the video pictures of me with the guitar and some other people. So hopefully you enjoy it and you learn something new. I know that in researching my guitars, I learned things about them that I didn't know before. So I think it's a fun thing to do if you've never really researched your instrument, to just Google it or just go to their website and see what you can find on it. So we'll be going through some of those. So this first guitar is my favorite and the most important guitar because it was the first one that I ever used. It is a Simon & Patrick Folk Cedar. And Simon & Patrick is a division of Godin guitars, and they're a Canadian manufacturer that's based out of Montreal, Quebec. Folk means that it's a smaller size. It doesn't mean that you have to play folk music with it, though you can and it sounds great, but you can play all kinds of music with it. It has a solid cedar top. It has a red wild cherry back and sides, and it has a fingerboard here and a bridge that are made from rosewood. The neck here is made out of silver leaf maple, which is harvested in northeastern Quebec in Canada. And this guitar was probably around $700 brand new, not counting the case. And the reason why I really like it is because it is my first guitar. So in 2007, right after a breakup, I had time on my hands and I was thinking it would be fun to try to learn guitar. And I knew that my little brother had one. So I called and asked if I could borrow it to see if I would like it, because I didn't want to make the investment into a new instrument if I had one in the family that I could practice on. And then if it turned out that I did like it, then I could possibly purchase one of my own. So I went home one day, and down in the basement, stowed away, was this beauty. And you can see that it has some lines here. Maybe some of these are ones that I put on it, but a lot of these were here when I picked it up. So I think that my brother and his friends maybe beat on it a little bit, but that's okay because it doesn't affect the sound at all. It's a little bit worn, but I kind of like that look. And so I took this guitar back to my apartment in Western Mass, and I got some guitar books from the library, and I just started going one by one fret at a time, trying to play without my fingers hurting too much. And after a short period of time, I saw some progress. I signed up for a lesson, and the rest is history. So this is a really meaningful guitar to me, and it's such a good quality guitar, and it has sentimental value. So I don't plan on getting rid of this ever, and I'm hoping that whoever inherits my stuff will be able to take the guitar after I'm gone. The action is pretty low, just like the way that it was when I first got it. And I like it that way because it allows me to fret a little bit easier, especially for songs that might be a little bit more complex. So you can see the action is pretty low. The action is just the distance between the strings and the frets. If you have the action too low, then you can get a lot of buzzing, especially coming from up here. So when I mentioned the different kinds of woods, that makes a big difference on how the guitar ages and how the guitar sounds. And I'll get into more of that when I talk about my Washburn. But this is a great guitar. I really like the sound, and everybody that picks it up, they say it sounds bright, they say it sounds even, and I've even been tempted to put some electrical pickup on it so that I could get that same sound amplified. But I have another guitar for that reason. So this is my Simon & Patrick Folk Cedar, and what I want to do is put in the video a picture of my buddy John and I, when I went over to his place. I believe it was back in 2008 or 2007. I'll post the picture, but it was when I first started learning, and it's a great memory. This guitar here is a Washburn D12S acoustic. D12S Washburn, made by George Washburn himself. Not really. That's who founded the company. So Washburn is a Chicago-based company that started in 1883. It is made in South Korea. The D in D12S, the model, stands for dreadnought. And dreadnought is one of the sizes of the body. So I mentioned that this guitar is smaller. It's a folk size. And this is a dreadnought size, which is kind of a standard guitar size for acoustic. It has a solid spruce top. It has a mahogany back, side, and neck. And like the Simon & Patrick Folk Cedar, it has a rosewood fretboard and bridge. What is the difference between cedar and spruce, you might ask? Cedar tends to produce a warmer sound, and it ages faster than spruce, whereas spruce is brighter and ages more over a longer period of time. And visually, cedar is darker in color with a fairly tight grain pattern, and spruce tends to be very blonde with a slightly wider grain pattern. So you might be able to see some of the differences in the grain patterns there and the colors. And, the bigger size is going to give you more sound, more amplification. So if I was going to play a song at a bigger venue, the chances are I would want to use this, because what I might lose in sound from the Folk Cedar, which is a little bit more expensive and better made, I'm going to make up for with some volume here. And that's going to allow the sound to carry more. And, you'll notice that with a lot of my guitars, I don't have a whole lot of extra things added onto them. I try to use things as stock as I can. And that's because I think that I don't want to mess with the natural sound that the guitar was intended to make. And I'm also a little afraid to, hack something off or make a dent or a mark where I shouldn't. So I'm pretty careful with my instruments. And this guitar was probably around $400 when it was brand new, but this one was gifted to me by my late Uncle Mark from Arizona. And I got it from him, I believe it was back in 2016 or 17. I went out to visit him, and he had stopped playing music for a while. He had already given me a bunch of his harmonicas, and he wanted to give me one of his guitars too, because he knew that I played and he thought that I would appreciate it. And so he took this one out of storage, and he just gave it to me. All that we did was went and got a case for it, which allowed me to bring it on the plane back to Massachusetts. And so, you know, this is one of those kind of rugged guitars that's going to get you through just about anything. You know, it can take a little bit of abuse if you have to go into a place with a different temperature. Maybe it isn't the cleanest place. You don't have to worry about being too delicate with it. So if it falls over, you don't need to worry about it too much. And this is the guitar that I use for most of my guitar teaching and lessons. And I like it because it's just a very straightforward guitar with a good sound. And my buddy John, who I just showed the picture of with me and my folk cedar, he also has a Washburn guitar. And it's fun to just play together and have the exact same guitar going back and forth or playing together. So this is a fun guitar. And, you know, I don't have a whole lot of heirlooms from different family members. I have a lot of pictures, but I don't have, you know, a whole lot of pieces of furniture. I don't really have a lot of space to store it anyway. But, you know, my uncle was a really fun uncle. He was a great guy. He was super funny, and he really meant a lot to me. And it was a pleasure, and it was really gratifying to be able to spend time with him in his later years, right up until he died, just getting to know him better, because we had known him, my brother and I had known him as little kids, and here and there over the years we would be sending messages back and forth through cards, postcards, and emails, but there's nothing like being able to visit with somebody in person and staying in touch that way. So for that reason, this is another one of the guitars that I never want to get rid of, and it's been a lot of fun to play. I've been very pleased with it, and I haven't had any issues with it. It stays in tune so well. I can leave it for a couple of weeks, and even if the temperature changes, you know, it tends to get all sharp or all flat altogether. So it's really a great guitar. Okay, so that last picture was of my student Hank and I playing at his house, and it's been really awesome to see Hank progress from someone who couldn't play guitar at all to now being able to pick out his own songs and learn them and rock out. So that's been a really fun journey. The guitar that I want to show you now is an Epiphone Les Paul. Epiphone is an American company that was founded by Greek immigrants. Anastasio Stahopoulo opened a factory in New York City in 1904. And a cool fact, something that I learned in the process of doing research, is that the term Epiphone comes from the founder's son, whose name was Epi. He added the word phone onto it to make the Greek word Epiphones, which means one sound on another. And this model here is a lower priced copy of the Gibson standard Les Paul, which can go for quite a bit of money. And if you've ever been to a rock concert or seen videos of people playing electric guitar, chances are you've seen this shape of the body because it's iconic. It's a shape that was developed by Les Paul himself, and it's endured all these years because it was just such a well-made guitar. The other style you might see a lot is the Fender shape, which has kind of another wing part coming out here, and it's probably a Stratocaster that you've seen. So if you haven't noticed the bodies of the guitars, next time check them out and see if you recognize this. This particular model is an Epiphone Les Paul Sunburst, and called Sunburst because of the design here that kind of looks like a sun with the orange and the red. And in terms of what it's made of, it's made with a mahogany body, and it's solid, so it's pretty heavy, especially if you go from playing the acoustic guitars to this. And it's got bound 50 shaped mahogany neck with a long tendon, Indian laurel fingerboard with classic trapezoid inlays, and a pair of Probucker humbuckers, which are these metal pickups here. This is what picks up the sound when you strum the guitar. And gold top hat knobs. And with these knobs, you can adjust the volume and you can also adjust the tone. So this is a guitar that I was able to find for just $200. It included the strap, a gig bag, which is the case, and a Roland mini acoustic amp. So it just happened that there was a kid who, I think he wanted to buy an Xbox or something, and I was looking for an electric, and so I found this, I played it a little bit, and it turned out to be a really awesome deal. So I haven't had to do a whole lot of maintenance on this guy. I think I might have brought it into the guitar store once to get it checked out, but other than that, it's been great. And it isn't the first electric guitar that I've owned, it's the second. The first one that I had was another hand-me-up from my brother that was a Squier Stratocaster. And it just didn't have the sound that I wanted, it didn't have the look and feel that I wanted, and I wanted to be able to play electric with my buddies, especially when we had a drummer that could play, and it's difficult to play acoustics with a drummer because you can get drowned out really easily. So we had mics set up and electric guitars, bass, drum set, and we were just, for many years, we would get together on Thursday nights and just rock out to old grunge tunes from the 90s and some modern country songs that we like to listen to and sing and play. So we have a lot of great memories, and I'll try to post a picture of us playing together or of me with this guitar. And so this guitar here, it is, like I said, it's the cheaper version of the Gibson Les Paul, and that one can go for $1,000 or more. This model is made in China. It's made from Epiphone. Even though they're a US-based company, they do a lot of their manufacturing overseas. And this one, brand new, could go $600 or $700, and I only got it for $2, so it was a really good deal. So let me plug it in and play some for you. Along with the guitar, I often use this Boss pedal. And what this does is it can distort the sound with just by tapping on it with your foot. And that way you don't have to reach all the way down to the amplifier and adjust any of the settings. I'm not going to use it now because I can't find the other cable. And the amplifier that I'm using is an orange, and it is a 20-watt output. I believe this is made in the UK. Not huge, but it's got a good sound to it. Can't play it too loud. I tend to not play it in the apartment because, well, it's an apartment. Let's see if we can get some. There we go. Get some sound here. So, see how this guitar is a little bit different than the other ones? This weird kind of shape here. Almost looks like plastic. It's got a different headstock on it. It is an Ovation Celebrity, model number CC057. It is an acoustic electric. I mentioned before that I was thinking about electrifying the folk cedar that I have, but I don't want to mess with it. I don't want to add anything to it at this point, maybe later. Just, I like the stock element of it. So I had been researching some guitars, and I was thinking it would be kind of cool to have an acoustic electric that is an acoustic guitar that has electrical inputs inside of it, which allow you to just plug it into an amplifier, like I just did with my Epiphone, and play it, louder. So if you're playing at a venue, or if you just want to be able to mess around with the different sounds, you can do that. So I wanted a guitar that could do that. I also wanted a cutaway, because I wanted to be able to reach down to some of these higher notes, which is difficult to do on the other acoustic guitars, because you can see here, the guitar body would be here, so you have to reach over. So if you want to play some high notes like here, you have to really reach over, and it can be either extremely difficult, or you can do it, but you run the risk of not being able to play the note the way that you want to. So I was doing some research online, and I was thinking, well, do I just want another normal acoustic? I've heard about Ovations and how they're a little bit different from the other kinds of guitars out there. So I thought that I would do everything at once. I would get a totally different model. I would get, but I would also get the things that I wanted, which was the electrical element of the acoustic added onto the acoustic, and I also wanted the cutaway. And so to let you know a little bit more about Ovation, so to give you some background, which I got from their site, in 1964, Charlie Kaman set out to revolutionize the acoustic guitar by compiling a group of aerospace engineers to create something that guitar players had never seen or heard before. They discovered that the flat backs of modern-day acoustics actually hindered the balance and the projection of the guitar, and so the round back designs found on Ovation guitars were born. As the founder put it, in helicopters, the engineers spend all of their time trying to figure out how to remove vibration. To build a guitar, you spend your time trying to figure out how to put vibration in. So the idea is that this shape here of the guitar is going to not allow the sound to get trapped inside, but rather it'll allow it to come from the strum here to go into the body and then come back out and project. In terms of the specs of the guitar, it is a spruce wood top colored in wine red. So it actually is a wooden top. And the back is made of fiberglass, and the kind of fiberglass that's used is called lyracord. It's got a mahogany neck and a rosewood fretboard and a walnut bridge. So this is walnut, this is rosewood here, just like the other guitars that I have. And the neck is made out of mahogany, made in South Korea. I bought it used on Craigslist, came with a hard case for just $200. Brand new, it could have been anywhere between $375 and $400. And I've already played this in at least one video. I think it was maybe the drinks after work, and maybe the boys around here. What I also like about it is that it has a built-in tuner. So if I don't have my handy snark, or I don't have a tuning fork or anything with me, I can just press this tuner on, and then I can just hit a string and it'll tell me if I'm sharp or flat. Right now I'm pretty much in tune, so it's not really going back or forth, but that's really nice. It also has these kind of built-in equalizers for the bass, mid, treble, and the overall volume. And this is the, let's see, is the plug-in down here somewhere? Yeah, right here. There's the plug-in for the amplifier. So I've been really pleased with this guitar. I've heard mixed things about Ovation. Some people say that they don't sound good acoustic, they only sound good electric. I mean, I don't think that they sound bad acoustically. I think that if I wanted a more pure guitar traditional sound, I would like to play either my Washburn or my Simon and Patrick. But this one gets great volume. I like being able to play up here, and it's just something different. So it's pretty bright. So there you have all four of my guitars. The Simon & Patrick Folk Cedar, the Washburn D12S, the Epiphone Les Paul, and the Ovation Celebrity. Check out your own instruments, and for more information about all of these guitars, you can go to the description in the video where I will put links to read more about them.